Sometimes the people closest to you resent you the most, and you don't even know it. And it's really not because you hurt them, but it's really because you kept growing. Kazuma Kiryu and Akira Nishikiyama grew up together, same orphanage and the same streets. They had the same dream of making it big in the Yakuza world. They were brothers in every way that mattered. Kiryu was the one people noticed. He was stronger, he was calmer, he got the job done. He was the kind of guy who could walk into a room and everyone would literally just straighten up without him saying a word. And I call that presence. He was sharp, ambitious, capable, and he had morals and values that he lived by. But the thing that really killed Nishikiyama was he lived in Kiryu's shadow. And we see this especially in Yakuza 0 and later on throughout Kiwami 1. And for a while, that was fine. They were brothers, they had each other's backs. Nishiki could live with being second as long as they were together. Then, things changed. Kiryu took a fall for a murder he didn't commit. He went to prison to protect someone. 10 years, no hesitation. That's who Kiryu was, someone who'd sacrificed everything without asking for recognition. And Nishiki stayed outside watching Kiryu become a legend. Even locked up, Kiryu's name carried weight. People respected him. Meanwhile, Nishiki was out there grinding, trying to prove himself, and nobody cared. And when you're standing next to someone like Kiryu, people eventually stop seeing you, and in Nishikiyama's case, they stopped respecting him. So the resentment starts somewhere around there, and it was in this space between what you're doing and, what people were actually noticing along the way. And here's the real part. You've probably felt this, maybe not in the same way, but maybe you had a friend who just seemed to, get things easier than you, right? Maybe school came naturally to them. People liked them without effort. Opportunities found them while, you were just still searching and finding your way. And guess what? You were right there, working just as hard, maybe harder, but nobody noticed. And at first, you're happy for them, truly. You celebrate their wins, but over time, something kind of shifts. You start measuring yourself against them, and their success starts feeling like your failure. Comparison is the thief of joy here, and you hate yourself for feeling that way because they didn't do anything wrong. There was a point in my life where people I trusted turned on me, and I knew I could have hurt them back, but I didn't, because crossing that line would have changed who I was. I understood the restraint that it takes to still have dignity. But I also understood what happens when someone decides restraint is weakness. And Nishiki started believing Kiryu's kindness was naivete, that his strength was luck. And I've watched friendships of mine change the moment someone said out loud that I didn't even have to try. Comparison doesn't stay neutral for long, it curdles into something else. And once that hatred or resentment actually takes root, every good thing the other person does kind of just feels like a reminder of what you're not, or have yet to become. Nishiki couldn't separate Kiryu's life from his own identity anymore, And the crazy part is, every time Kiryu succeeded, Nishiki felt smaller and smaller, and he eventually turned all of that emotion and that resentment into something worse, which was betrayal. And here's where it gets hard to watch, at least for me. Nishiki doesn't just walk away. He crosses lines Kiryu never would. He hurts people. Kiryu protected. He becomes ruthless in ways that feel like he's trying to prove something, like he's trying to orchestrate a bigger kind of bravado to himself, to Kiryu, to everyone who ever doubted him. And Kiryu, he just takes it. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't lash out. He absorbs the pain because somewhere deep down he still sees Nishiki as his brother. But there's a cost to that kind of restraint. And at some point, this is where you have to realize that the other person stopped choosing you a long time ago. And I know it's hard, but what you have to realize is that they stopped seeing you as a person and started seeing you as a symbol of everything that they're not. And some relationships don't end with an argument, they don't end with some kind of dramatic finish, but they end when you realize your discomfort keeps getting laughed off and no one ever chooses you. I mean, you keep showing up, you keep extending, gratitude, and they just keep taking without ever asking if you're okay. Like, hey, how you doing? Love and loyalty can't fix resentment once it's turned into something else. You can't save someone who's decided you're the reason why they're not where they want to be. You can't talk them out of a narrative that they've built up about you. I mean, it's their reality after all. And all you can do is hold your own boundaries and accept that some people will hate you for existing. But that's their problem, not yours to fix. Kiryu and Nishiki's story doesn't end well, but it shows something most people don't want to hear or don't actually see, at least not all the way through. And that is, you can do everything right, be loyal, be kind, be a steady person, and still lose people, because sometimes the problem isn't what you did or, didn't do. Context is key here, but it's the fact that what you embody just reminds them of who they're not. And when that happens, you have a choice. You can either shrink yourself to make them feel comfortable, to fit into a mold, or you can keep being who you are and let them choose to walk away or stay silent. Kiryu chooses restraint, and we see this. He never became the person Nishiki accused him of being, even when it cost him everything. The weight of staying yourself when someone you love decides that you're the enemy. So, here's my question for you. Have you ever lost someone, not because you necessarily hurt them, but because they couldn't stop comparing themselves to you? If you have, drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you got this far, thank you so much for watching the video, and stay frosty, my friends.